Ah, what a lovely day in Terraria. Calamity. It is by far my favorite Terraria mod of all time, and being my favorite, I've played this mod quite a lot, and I've even beat it on some of its hardest difficulties. But despite all that time playing, there's one thing I've still never tested. How fast can I beat Terraria Calamity? As soon as I loaded in, I started going. I wasn't necessarily speed running, but I did want to do it fast. So to try to make sure I could, I had a couple ground rules that I wanted to follow. 1, I had a maximum of 100 days. Honestly, I thought this was a lot less time than it actually was, but I still wanted to do it before then. 2, I was going for Ranger class, with melee as backup. Originally, I was just going to go for Ranger, but I got so indecisive and just ended up switching between them throughout the whole playthrough, so I just went for both. You'll see later on what I mean. And number 3, I was playing on Revengeance. I usually play on a higher difficulty, but I knew I could do it the fastest on Revengeance, so that's just what I went with. Let me know if you want to see me test how fast I can do it on Death or Infernum, and I definitely will. So those were the rules I was following. Nothing crazy, but now it was time to make some progress towards my goal. Defeat Supreme Calamities in less than 100 days. Day 1 began as any normal playthrough would, and I started by exploring the world to find tools and accessories, making a little base, and crafting my armor. Also, that counter in the bottom left, it displays how many days I've passed. So currently, since it's day 1, 0 days have passed, so it says 0 days. Basically, what that means is that at any point, the current day will be that number plus 1. So on day 2, 1 day will have passed, on day 10, 9 days, and so on. Anyways, I finished day 1 by building up my base a little bit, causing some deforestation, and exploring some more. I also began working on my elevator, where I found some more resources. Day 2 to 3 moved pretty slowly as I was just trying to explore and prepare for the first boss. I ended up finding this little guy, and unfortunately, I needed the diamonds for magic storage, so I had to... yeah. But I did find these living trees with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 chests. Oh my gosh. There's so many chests in this one tree. It was awesome. Ooh, an Extractinator. Yes. Ooh, Magic Conch. Let's go. And a summon for Desert Scourge. Hell yeah. Yeah, I got absolutely blessed with the loot in these trees. I spent day 2 and 3 pretty much just exploring my world. Not much happened except for your regularly scheduled deforestation. Found another chest with a rogue weapon, so I couldn't use it. Went back underground to work more on my elevator, and finally, finding a heart crystal. Yes, I just got 3 heart crystals from 1. For some reason, if you use or Excavator on the top half of a heart crystal, you get 3. Not sure why, pretty sure it's a bug and I did use it to my advantage. Apologies, I wanted to go fast, but still, I'm sorry. Here I found another one, and upon using them, I was up to 220 health after only finding 2 crystals. Very nice. The rest of day 3 was generally the same, with me going mining while using one of the best items in all of Terraria to get around. Scarab bombs. Like, these have to be one of the most underrated items in all of Terraria, right me? Yes, I agree with you. Scarab bombs are very underrated. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Apologies, I'm just very passionate about my Scarab bombs. Either way, as I continued exploring, I found 3 more heart crystals, and using Ore Excavator to get 9, they got me up to 400 health. Another thing that I was collecting down in the caves was silt. Why? Because it is incredibly helpful for making magic storage. This is also why I was so excited earlier when I found an Extractinator. Oh, an Extractinator. Yes. Basically, using the silt at an Extractinator can give you gems, which you need to make magic storage. After not getting all the gems I needed, I went back down my elevator to get some more silt. I actually got really lucky here, and the last 2 gems I needed were right here. So there we go. And back at the surface, I ended day 3 by putting up a magic storage system. I spent day 4 exploring the planets the Calamity adds, where I found a power cell charger, which would be helpful later on, and the schematic that I would need for certain recipes. Then, after going to a few more islands for some resources, I decided to start exploring the left side of my world. On the night of day 4, I reached the jungle, where I absolutely destroyed this jungle bat. Oh, what a shot. And then the Eye of Cthulhu wanted some. Uh-oh. Overall, this fight started off pretty well, but there was a problem. I wasn't doing a lot of damage, like, at all. Even when I got a lot of shots in, I wasn't doing any damage. And with the little amount of arrows that I had, I wasn't going to be able to do enough to finish the fight without running out. Alright, so this is taking a while, but we're doing good damage. We're doing good damage-ish. Actually, we're not taking any, pretty much, which is really nice. So I think I can do this. It's just going to take a while. I might have to... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna make a move. Power play. Come on. I'm stopping by my magic storage, and I'm gonna try to quickly make some more arrows. Because if I don't, then I'm 100% gonna run out. Dash one more time. Okay. I made a few. Started flaming. Took a little bit of damage, but now I have a lot more. And hopefully it's enough to do this. That was a power play right there. I think that might work. Surprisingly, it actually did work. And really well at that. I just gotta hit my shots. So now, I had arrows, but I still didn't know if I was doing enough damage, but I couldn't just stop, so I kept trying. Okay, there's phase 1. Try to get some of these serpents out of here. Okay, so we're looking at the moon up in the sky. We're past halfway through the night, and we're not doing a great amount of damage. So I'm hesitant to say that we win this, but I'm hopeful. Okay, that hurt. I have to switch my staff a little bit for this. Might be a good support, because I do want to keep going ranged, but anything that would help me get more damage in was necessary, and I just kept on trying. And though I wasn't doing much, we're not taking a ton of damage. So I pushed throughout the entire night. Whether or not I was doing enough damage didn't matter. I was gonna try regardless. I still had to be careful though and apply some strategy, so I'm gonna work on just dodging the servants rather than actually trying to kill them. Simply because I don't have time. And as I shot countless arrows, dodged the Eye and his servants, and jammed out to the Calamity music box that I forgot to turn off, I miraculously did enough damage to finish out this battle. Boom! Hey! Okay. So yeah, we actually still had a decent amount of time left in the night. Let's go. Surprisingly, yeah, I did enough damage, and after only 3, actually closer to 4 days had passed, the first boss was down. And I was actually pleased with the pace I was making. But I still had to keep pushing to see how fast I could beat Calamity, and if I could do it all in less than 100 days. Day 5, I continued exploring, and I eventually made it to the corruption so that I could break a shadow orb. Not necessarily to fight the Eater of Worlds yet, but rather because breaking an orb allows a goblin army to happen. After that, I went down underground where I found a mushroom biome, and in it, I found a better band of regeneration with warding, 2 pairs of Hermes boots, and a lava charm. Holy crap, my luck is insane. Man, I don't know what relogic is feeding the mushroom biomes, but they are gold mines, I swear. Anyway, I continued day 5 and 6 by going to the jungle to get my pylons set up, then exploring the underground jungle, where I, of course, used scare bombs to get around. However, besides Plantera's arena, which won't be helpful till later on, I didn't find much down there, so I went back up to the planets to try and get some more resources instead. I also found a Star Fury, which would come in handy now actually because I wanted to do the Desert Scourge. So, I went to the desert, made a quick arena, and with the summon I got earlier, summoned him. Now, you could probably guess this, but since this fight is technically before I progression-wise, it was pretty easy. The beginning, and honestly the majority of the fight, I used a bow because I wanted to go for ranged, but once I realized the Star Fury could do this, I suddenly wanted to only use it. I did use my bow for the majority of the fight against the desert nuisances, however, which did end up making them take longer, but after finishing them up with the Star Fury, we go. Okay. Ooh, yeah, this is why I switched to the Star Wand, or whatever it is, Star Fury, because look at that damage. I'm gonna keep going for, also let's go, that was easy, but I'm gonna keep going for ranged. Ooh, Goblin Army, nice. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep going for range, but that was just nice because the Star Fury was doing so much damage, so you know, why not? And just make it go a little bit quicker. But it's early on, so I'm not obviously strict to a class yet, but I will be later on, so sorry for cheating a little bit there. Back to ranged. Trust me, this is not the first time I'm gonna be indecisive. I switch up the entire playthrough. Anyways, day 7 began right after defeating Desert Scourge, and it started with me doing a Goblin Army. Easy. There we go. Okay, cool. Afterwards, I did a little bit of grinding. Underground, I found the Goblin Tinkerer, and with his workshop, I could make new accessories. So I went back to the jungle to find an anklet of the wind that would help me make lightning boots. But I couldn't find one, so instead, I decided to end the day by throwing a shot at Eater of Worlds. Because I didn't want to waste any time carving out an arena underground, I decided to just summon him and sprint back to the surface to try to make an arena out there instead. Aside from a few hits, I surprisingly made it back pretty quickly, and now I had a lot more space to fight. I'm realizing now that I should have made an arena before summoning him. But we ball. And yes, I'm still going melee because the Star Fury is so nice. So apologies if that's bad, but hell yeah, we got a lot of arena. That's very nice. I could try using the bow for a bit, actually. It should actually do decent regardless of anything. Yeah, it's not too bad, so I'll probably just end up switching off. I don't know why, but the Star Fury was doing an incredible amount of damage, so I mainly used that for the rest of the fight. And I think it was actually because of the Star Fury, but I was doing way better than I thought I would. Yeah, we're doing literally great right now, so. And honestly, the rest was pretty easy after a little while more back and forth. Still though, I did take a few more hits when I did not see those. Okay. But overall, it was just the same thing until I finally got his health all the way down. There's so many little ones, dude. Perfect, perfect, come on. Almost got that one out of here. But not quite, not quite. There's one. Alright, 2 little stinkers left. Come on. 1 left. Come here. Whoa. Easy. Bada boom. There we go. And there we go. Day 7 ended with me killing the Eater of Worlds. Day 8, I worked on my elevator because the sooner I could get to the underworld, the sooner I could get Hellstone, since I now have a Nightmare Pickaxe. In order to work on the elevator more efficiently though, I needed a quicker way to get up and down that's not just a rope. So, day 8, I made the summon, fought, and killed King Slime to hopefully get the mount. And hopefully I got the mount. Hey, I did, let's go. Okay, that's what I was going for. I then kept working on my elevator until I got to the underworld, where I then used an obsidian skin potion and spent the rest of day 8 farming for Hellstone. At some point while I was mining, I checked boss checklist to see which bosses I wanted to do next, and landed on Skeletron, then Slime God. Despite Slime God not actually dropping too much helpful things, there was one item I wanted, the Electrolyte Gel Pack, simply because this item is a permanent upgrade to Calamity's added Adrenaline mechanic. Anyways, after I got back to the surface, I was ready to fight Skeletron, but unfortunately, it turned day way before I could fight him, so day 9 was spent doing some more minimal things, like setting up pylons. What are y'all doing? What did I just walk in on? Yeah, actually, don't tell me. I don't really want to know. Going to the jungle to find an anklet of the wind for Terraspark boots. Let's go. And mining obsidian for Hellstone, where there's a giant clam is somewhere here. He's right there. And I don't need to fight him at all, really. But you know what? I'm here, so I might as well. The bow that I was using actually wasn't really doing anything against him, but once I started using the volcano, Ooh, that's doing damage. Perfect. Okay, cool. And then the rest of it was pretty much the same thing over and over again until I finally killed him. And there we go. Okay. Eventually, on the night of day 9, I went back to the dungeon with my little arena and fought Skeletron. Alright, let's try to do this. This should go relatively quickly and easily, I think. I'm hoping. Little spoiler, my hope was definitely rightfully placed. We're doing perfect damage. The bow I was using, I don't know if it was the flames that were inflicted upon him every time I landed a shot or what, but it was absolutely melting his health. Good damage. Wow. And pretty early on, I got both of his hands out simultaneously. Then, I just kept trying to land as many shots as I could and keep my distance. Ooh, back up, buddy. And eventually, after getting and using adrenaline, I made it to phase 2. I would switch to the volcano, but honestly, we're doing perfect damage with the bow, so I'm just gonna keep going with this. Because of how earlier the bow that I was using wasn't doing much damage, especially against like Desert Scourge set or Giant Clam, I was kind of hesitant to use it and not the volcano, but again, I was so surprised. It was doing so well. And after a few minutes more of just back and forth, landing as many shots as I could and keeping my distance, I finally got adrenaline again, and... Okay, we got one hand. Oof, that was close. And got the last 2 hands, so now let's go for his face. And that's exactly what I did. Just kept landing shots, keeping distance, just trying to be careful, keeping it simple. I was scared about one certain possibility though. I can't remember, so I have to be careful about it, but he might have like a Dungeon Guardian mode where at the end he just starts charging at me and I have to run. I'm not too sure. Gonna find out. He does not. Okay. But there we go. Easy, Skeletron. Bada boom. After that, I went back to the corruption to get the materials for Slime God. Now, I would do Hive Mind right now, but I have limited days, so I need to spend the most of it that I can on the true progressional stuff. I would, but I don't have a lot of time. I only have 100 days and it's nearly day 9. Actually, no, 8 days have passed, so it is day 9 right now. Besides a little confusion, I got the materials and made the summon. I will, however, do Slime God because he does have some drops that I want. So let's, let's try this. I gotta be honest here, I enjoyed this fight, but I will say it's pretty easy. The beginning of this fight, and honestly the majority of it, was kind of just a boring back and forth of me running and just easily dodging their attacks, trying to land shots. However, as I realized that I started to run out of arrows, I decided that I had to come up with a new strategy that's not just using my bow and hoping that I have enough. Alright, this is gonna have to be the strat because if I don't do this, I might run out of arrows. And that's the last thing I want. I will switch back to the bow at some point. I do need to conserve my arrows though. So that's what I did, just switching off between the volcano and my bow, and once they get close, using melee. If they're far, using my bow. I think this is going to be the best way to do that. Still got to be careful though. This combo actually played out really well in my favor, but again, the fight started boring, just back and forth, me trying to get shots in. Once they started to speed up though, things started picking up. Ooh, gotta be a little bit more careful here. But eventually, I broke them both up one by one into their respective duos. And then, I actually realized something. Well, if I can hit all 4 at once with gesture arrows, I can. Come on. And after I realized that, the fight started to go a little bit faster. But still, just a lot of back and forth. Overall, though, we're not taking too much damage, which is very nice, very nice. And we're certainly doing enough to get this done, so. But while I was doing enough, I wasn't doing a lot. And this fight took way longer than I wanted it to. But I finally started to get a rhythm down and eventually started doing some real damage. Good damage, good damage, good damage. That's alright, we're good. Come on. If I can get this Crimson Paladin out of here. Got one of them. Want this hurts. Ooh, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. But as I started doing more damage, I also got more confident. But that also meant I was taking a lot more hits. Alright, I don't want to get cocky. That's the last thing I want to do. And lose. So be careful. I can get this Paladin one right. Or Crimson one. Yep. One left. Come on. Or two left. Oh, no. Not one. Not one. And after making sure I didn't die, I did enough damage. And that's it. Easy. First try. Let's go. Come on. And this is what I wanted. The Electrolyte Gel Pack permanently increases adrenaline mode damage by 20% and damage reduction by 5%. Perfect. Okay, and then Purified Gel, of course, that's going to be helpful. So, yeah, let's go. Now, this is where the real indecision started to happen, because with the Purified Gel, I can make something called the Fractured Arc, which is basically a baby version of my favorite weapon in all of Terraria, hands down. The Arc of the Cosmos. I absolutely love using this weapon because with it, you can parry, which not only parries the enemy's attack, but increases the strength of the arc. The Fractured Arc does the exact same thing, but just on a smaller level. So I went ahead and made it. Then I remembered that I forgot to go to the dungeon, so day 10, I went there and explored it. I continued day 10 into day 11, exploring the underworld with the shadow key I had gotten. I was also collecting hellfire arrows because they would be incredibly useful with my bow. I then did a few more things just to make sure that I was prepared for what was about to come next. After a bit more grinding, I decided that I was prepared enough, and after using a double obsidian instabridge, it was time. On the night of day 11, I summoned and fought the Wall of Flesh. Alright, let's go. Like most Wall of Flesh fights, this one was kind of just me keeping my distance, making sure I wasn't getting too close, and because I was playing ranged, or at least maining ranged, or trying to, I should say, I was just trying to land shots, and the majority of this fight was just that. That was definitely a premature pop, but better safe than sorry. We're still doing great damage, if I'm being honest. Like, for Wall of Flesh, this is not bad. It is taking a while, as it always does, but that's alright. You know what? We're just gonna watch these leeches a little bit. Yeah, we're good. Stay a little bit consistent. So yeah, a lot of just running, keeping my distance, dodging the projectiles that he was shooting at me. But eventually I started getting really close to the end of the fight. 20 seconds and we'll have another potion. Should be plenty of time. He's getting pretty low. I think we're doing good on space too. I think we have plenty of arena left, plenty of the underworld. So just need to stay consistent. Still have 1,000 arrows, so yeah, we're good on that. Yeah, we're doing around 100 damage per second-ish. Give or take. Push it on our 50. Pop potion real quick. Probably could have waited just a little bit more, but that's okay. Some more hits in. I could have dodged that. It's alright though. Alright, now we're coming up on the edge of the map. I do need to get him down pretty soon. But he's already dead. He's already very low, so. There we go. First try. Easy. Let's go. In just under 12 days, I had defeated the Wall of Flesh and was now ready to move into hard mode in just 11 days. I still had to move fast though. I didn't know how fast I could do hard mode because it would be a step up, so I started day 12 by mining, collecting the first hard mode ores, palladium and cobalt. After making it back to the surface, I made a palladium repeater as well as palladium armor. I then continued day 12 by farming for some resources for the summons of the upcoming bosses, including Souls of Night and Light, where somehow I got this. Ooh, right at Discord. Okay, that's so nice. Holy crap. Love to see it. Okay, perfect. I then made the summon for the twins, and once nighttime came around, I decided to give them a shot. Alright, let's just. Unfortunately though, while the fight went pretty well, the bow I was using was doing just barely not enough damage, and I ultimately ended up losing because I didn't do enough damage in time, leading to this being a waste of a night. It's gonna be close, but I don't think I have enough time. Damn. Yeah, no, that's it. Damn. Yeah. Well, that's fun. Okay. I know I can win though, as long as I do a little bit more damage. That's good to know. That's good to know. Thus, I had to spend day 13 grinding, and it started off with the Wall of Flesh, where after killing him, I got exactly the accessory I was going for. Ooh. Ooh, I got it. Let's go. I then started grinding for souls so I could get the summons for the other 2 mechanical bosses, thinking that maybe I could do one of them first instead of the twins. After making the other 2 summons though, I still had to wait until nighttime to fight one. So I decided to use the time I had during the light of day 13 to fight a different boss, Queen Slime. Try this out. I hope I can win this because I might be able to get wings from this. I think. I'm pretty sure. And that would help tons with the mechs. I don't know why, but I thought I could get wings. And it's so weird. I can picture them in my mind, what the wings are, but I literally can't find them on like any of the wikis. So I don't know. Regardless, the beginning of the fight went amazing. And while I wasn't doing a ton of damage, I wasn't taking any. So we're looking good so far. I'm not sure how phase 2 is going to go. If this is a sort of representation of the whole fight though, then I think I'm going to win. I really gotta bite my tongue sometimes. I really do jinx myself all too much, don't I? Anyways, I just kept trying to play it safe and doing little things like, let's get some of these slimes out of here, they're a problem. But besides that, the beginning of this fight was pretty much the same, generally just going back and forth, as per usual. Eventually, as the fight started going on though, and I started doing more and more damage, she started to pick up the pace, and it was actually getting a lot harder to dodge. But eventually, I did enough damage and made it to phase 2. A bit more damage. There we are. Now this phase wasn't too bad, all it was just trying to keep it simple, dodge the projectiles the best I could, and I wasn't doing a ton of damage, but as long as I was getting my shots in, I believed that I could do this. Nice. Adrenaline. And rage. Took a hit there, but that's alright. I think we're still doing fine damage. At least enough. But as the sun started to set and the background began to dim, I was getting a little bit nervous that I wasn't going to be able to kill her in time. But either way, I just kept pushing. That was good, that was good. And I just kept shooting my bow, kept dodging the projectiles, killing the slimes, all the pieces that I needed. I put them together and I kept fighting until I finally got her incredibly low. Right, she's almost down. I just need to keep hitting my shots, stay consistent, and we win. And that's what I did. So after a minute or 2 more of fighting, there we go. Pretty easy. Cool. See if I got the wings. I did not. There might be a master mode thing, so... Or I'm tripping and she doesn't drop them. Okay. All good. All good. Right after I killed her, it was already pretty much nighttime, so I decided to throw a shot at a different mech. I'm gonna try... Big Skelly Boy. Unfortunately, though, the same thing happened, where I just simply wasn't doing enough damage, leading to me just running out of time again. That sucks so bad. This death sucked because not only did I lose, but it was a waste of another night, and I had to wait all day until the next one just for another chance, and that scared me due to the limited amount of days that I had. But I still had time. It was only day 14, so I spent it wisely. I wasn't doing enough damage, so I had to figure out a way to do more, and the first thing that came to mind was a different bow, a better bow called the Daedalus Storm Bow. So I went down to the Hollow and farmed for souls so that I could fight hollowed mimics, the enemies that would drop this weapon. I then fought and killed 2 mimics, and neither of them dropped the bow, so I went back to farming. But then, out of nowhere, a hollowed mimic spawned naturally, and I gotta say, this mimic blessed me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Nice. Okay, I got the thing. That's exactly what I was going for. Just before the night of day 14, I got the bow, meaning that I didn't have to wait any more nights to try again. This night, however, I decided to try the third mech, the Destroyer, the one I hadn't yet. This is because the Daedalus Stormbow would work perfectly against him, as he has the widest body and thus the easiest to hit target. And my prediction was right. I was doing really good damage, or at least better damage than against either of the other 2 mechs. Lasers. So yeah, we're doing decent damage, I love this bow. I am so glad I got it because it was doing wonders. Anyway, for this fight, all I had to focus on was really just dodging the lasers, and besides that, because of the bow that I had, because of the range with it, I was doing plenty of damage, so I didn't really have to worry about that anymore. That was a little bit close, but oh, hi lasers. So I just kept fighting and kept doing my best to dodge. Okay, so we're doing plenty of damage, it seems. Stealth bar is getting pretty down there. Obviously not that far, because still early in the fight, but I was doing an astronomical amount of damage compared to how much I was doing against the other 2 mechs. I think we're doing enough to finish this fight out and at least have enough time. I still had to be careful though, because the Destroyer can do a lot of damage incredibly quickly, and if I get caught, I would still lose. And if I lost, that could potentially be a waste of another night still. Alright, we're gonna go under here. I don't want to, but don't have much of a choice. Might be okay. That was close. We're alive though. A lot of probes. Gotta get some out of here. There we go. Alright, I don't want to be under. This is not where I want to be. Nice. Halfway done. Looking good on health, looking good on damage. At this point, it was looking very possible that I could win this. Watch out. Nice. But once again, I had to be careful because I get caught just once, and that could be the entire fight gone. Watch from above. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yep. Good damage, good damage. Coming from below. I want to get above him, yeah. I hate being below him. At this point, I was just trying to control the fight the best I could because I was doing plenty of damage. It's 11 o'clock, and he is already about 2/3 down. So it's all down to dodging. And if I could control that as much as possible, I could win. I'm going to have to go below him. But I don't have full control. I just want to heal a little bit. That does so much damage. And I'll never have full control, so I do have to adapt. Please leave. And to do that, I needed to play the best that I could. Good damage, good damage. Nice. He's coming. The boss music stopped here and it actually terrified me because I thought he left. And it was coming. Yeah, there he is. 26 potions, or 26 seconds, and then we have potions. Stumbling. He has about, oh, okay. Okay, we didn't get hit by him there. That's good, that's really good. Or that's not by his face. That would have done like 200 damage, which is exactly why I need to be on my tiptoes the entire time. Yeah, we have plenty of time. Time is not a problem. I just need to be careful to watch my health. I started to get real nervous here because he only had a little bit of health left, but I get caught once and I'm dead. Yep. Nice, good dodging, good dodging. A little bit of damage there, but that's okay. Okay, dash. Eye of Cthulhu dash saved me there. Or Shield of Cthulhu, I should say. Go low. Okay, it took a lot of hits there. That's okay. Watch out. Watch the blue lasers. I think those did the most damage. Obviously, watch all of them. Oh my gosh. He faked me. But I have to go low. Actually didn't. I don't know. We're alive. Watch blue lasers. I can get this. I can get this. I can get this. Fucking cocky though. Careful. Dodge. 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 We won. We won. I won. Okay. That was nearly the biggest throw of all time, but I did it. Let's go. After 2 wasted nights dying to the other mechs, this felt amazing. And with no time to waste, day 14 and 15, I was back underground to mine for the second hard mode ores. Mithril and Orichalcum. Back at the surface, I made Orichalcum armor and a repeater, which would hopefully help me enough so I could beat one of the 2 mechs whom I failed to kill previously. But I didn't have enough bars, so I did some more mining. After finishing the armor set back at the surface, I then decided that the next main boss I would have to fight would be Cryogen, because killing him would allow me to get cryonic ore, which I would need in the future. So, I spent most of day 15 grinding for his summon, and for whatever reason, fighting the Hive Mind, which just ended up being a waste of time. As the light of day 15 began to fade though, it was time to fight Cryogen. Alright. I should be able to do Cryogen. I just don't know how long it'll take. Yeah, he's got a lot of health. You could probably tell, but I realized here that this was going to take a while, and would likely last through the night, partially because it was already late in the day due to me fighting Hivemind for absolutely no reason. This was a problem because it would cause me to have to wait another whole day in order to fight the next mech, but I still decided to fight him, and spent the night of day 15 fighting Cryogen. Alright damage, not bad damage, not bad damage. That hurt. I guarantee it's because he didn't have as big of a body as the Destroyer, but it was so much harder to hit Cryogen, and I was doing so much less damage than I was against the Destroyer. I think the actual shot bow is going to be doing much better, or the repeater I should say. If I would hit my shots. Honestly, the rest of this fight went pretty much how it's going right now, if not even worse. It would have gone great, but for some reason I was doing a whole lot of 0 damage, and despite not taking too many hits, it took absolutely forever. Yeah, Orichalcum shot bow is going to be doing way more damage than Daedalus. Daedalus is good, which I should check how it is with Jesters. Okay, I want to save those for a mechanical, because I think that'll actually be doing really good high heavily. And I'm very glad I made that choice, because the Jester arrows will definitely come in handy later. Anyway, the fight just kept going on for, honestly, way too long. And while the Orichalcum Shoppo was doing better, it still was doing just unbelievably mid. This might be where the Daedalus one comes in handy, because it's harder to predict where it's going to be, and this covers a wider range. And I'm probably just going to skip ahead here again, because the rest of the fight was the exact same thing, just over and over again, doing minimal damage against a boss that should not take this long. But finally, after what felt like hours of fighting him, we're right there. And there we go. Easy. While I was glad I won, it was now an extremely inconvenient time, and I would have to wait out all of the rest of day 15 and the daytime of day 16 in order to fight the next mech. But with limited time, I couldn't just sit around, so I decided to farm some more, making my way to the Brimstone Crags to get some things done. On the way, I found this mimic, and let me tell you, I have a Philosopher's Stone. Pretty please. 2 dual hooks. Man, you are just something else. That's nicely. In the crags, I set up a pylon and went mining for some infernal sweet meat, which I would need in the future. I continued day 16 by doing anything I could to make progress, like setting up pylons, looking for the lab in the sunken sea, and setting up the code breaker. Finally though, after waiting all day, it was once again nighttime, and I could fight the next mech, that being Skeletron. And this is why I was glad I saved those Jester arrows, because Skeletron Prime is the perfect opponent for them. Due to him having 4 arms and the arrows piercing, it goes straight from the top to bottom and melts all 4 of his arms and him all simultaneously. It's truly wonderful. Alright, this is why I wanted to save the Jester arrows, because they pierce. So I should be able to get all of his arms out of here relatively quick and all together nearly at the same time, which is just freaking beautiful. So here we go. So I didn't have too much to focus on in particular in this fight. Skeletron's attacks are relatively pretty easy to dodge, so all I had to do was do that. And because I had the Daedalus Stormbro, I was already doing damage without even having to think about it. Like, I already almost have the laser out of here. And the rest of them are like nearly half health. It was truly beautiful just how much damage I was doing. And at about a minute and a half through the night, laser's so close. There it is. Nice. Good stuff. The other ones are already low too. Yeah, this is perfect. And then once I get at least 2 more of the arms out of here, I'm going to switch back to the Orichalcum bow. Probably with... I might actually keep going with these arrows until I run out. I do have a lot. My plan for that is just that I could be a lot more accurate and pinpoint a single location with the shot bow. So I was thinking I would be able to get his head out just a little bit quicker just to ensure that I had enough time in the night. Cannon out of here. Nice. Let me get one more thing and then I'll switch to the Orichalcum shot bow. It's not a shot bow. It's a repeater. Yeah, me, you idiot. Anyway, that was the plan. So now all I had to do was get enough damage to actually do it. Back up, Saw. You too, Vice. Alright, got the Vice, so I'm gonna switch now. And my prediction was right. The shot bow itself was doing a great amount of damage to a single target. Alright, got the Saw, so I'm gonna switch to these arrows. Simply because they would do a lot more damage to a single target because they don't pierce. And now it's way earlier in the night than it was last time at the time that we're at in the fight. Thus, I should be able to get the damage in and I should be able to win this. But like any other boss fight, theoretically, thousands of things could go wrong and I could lose at any instant. So I still needed to be incredibly careful as to not lose. And honestly, I'd say I did a pretty good job at that. The rest of the fight, I was incredibly focused because I did not want to waste another night here. I'm getting these shots in. I already lost once, so I had to make sure I won this time. So I just kept pushing the entire fight, dodging, getting my shots in, and keeping my distance, and making sure that it didn't get caught with anything that could be fatal. And after a little while of just staying consistent, I was already nearing the end of the fight. But this time, yeah, we have so much more time. Holy crap. Oh, we're nearly there. There we go. Boom. Easy. Skeletron Prime, baby. And you will not believe what happened. Oh. That's what a pull. Yo. They're not great, but they're going to be so helpful. Okay, that's perfect. Now I don't have to grind for those. Yeah, I got a dev set that had a pair of wings, which would actually come in incredibly handy. Regardless though, I spent day 17 mining for the final hard mode ores, adamantite and titanium, where I also found an underground Drayden lab before I kept mining for more ore. After making titanium armor, I then decided that I might be strong enough to do another boss before nighttime comes. So I went down to the Brimstone Crags to fight her. Alright, the Brimstone Elemental. And try Brimstone now. However, I had to be careful because the last thing I wanted was to waste another night like I did fighting Cryogen. This fight would have gone great and I would have had just enough time to kill her, but we aren't here for if this is or would haves, and after doing decent for most of the fight, I eventually got caught in... Ooh. That was so unlucky. What hit me? Even editing this, I have no idea how I died. Someone please tell me. Anyways, because day 17 was nearly over and I was not going to waste another night not fighting a mech, I decided to hold off on retrying her and waited for nighttime so that I could do the final mechanical boss. Alright, the twins. It's about time. So now I have wings and a much better, actually 2 times better bow. As in like I originally had a Did I originally try this with Palladium one? I think so. So now I should be way stronger doing way more damage. So just need to dodge good. Same as last 2 fights. But my problem was the twins are the hardest for me to dodge. So I really had to be on my A game for this fight. If Retinuser a bit more. That would have been nice to have that adrenaline. But you know what? I think it'll be okay. So not too worried about it. Retinuser went off screen for a little bit here and longer than I thought he should. So I did think, I think I actually might have gotten Retinuser too. Second. No, I did not. I'm tripping. But right after, there's Spasm. Damage on Retinuser. There we go. There's Retinuser. So not even a minute and a half through the night, and I already had both of them down to phase 2. And I kept going. Given that I lost the first time, I was adamant about being incredibly focused the entire time. And I actually didn't talk a lot during the fight. But regardless, I was doing a ton of damage, and I was pretty confident that I could do this. We're doing great damage. I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on Retinuser, because I do kind of want them to be a little bit more even, health-wise, that is. And from then on, I just had to stay consistent. I was doing plenty of damage, so I didn't really need to worry about hitting every single one of my shots. All I had to worry about was not getting hit and not dying. So I shot and dodged and shot and dodged, and I kept just doing my best to not die. It got a little scary at some point when I reached the edge of the world because I was running so far for so long, but I adapted. Switch sides. There we go. Start going left. Try to get a little bit more damage on Retinuser. As the fight went on, I actually started focusing even more, and once I did, I started landing every shot. Good damage, good damage. And that's all I had to do. The rest of the fight, if I just focused, I knew I could win. And if I could win, I knew I could beat this challenge. So I focused and I gave it my all, adapting to any situation that occurred. All right, guess we're on right. Try to dodge that. Okay, there we go. Yep. I rage. And after a little while more of straight consistency, just landing my shots and dodging the best I could. And there's Retinuser. I just have Spaz. Then we win. So it's already pretty much in the bag, but still want to be careful. Very small chance I throw. But at this point, honestly, I had the rhythm down, and after dodging just a few more attacks, but it's looking good. After finally beating each mech, I wasn't gonna stop, and I continued day 17 into day 18 grinding for Hollowed Ore. Goblin army. I then dealt with goblins before making hollowed armor and a hollowed repeater. With that, I decided that I was ready to continue making progression, and on merely day 18, it was time to fight Calamitous Clone. Alright, we're gonna try Calamitous Clone. Now that I have hollowed stuff, I think this should go pretty good. And I gotta say, man, this... Wait. Nah, let's jam out real quick. Jeez, it's so good. Anyway, the hollowed stuff I got was actually amazing. I always forget just how good hollowed is, and the repeater was doing wonders, especially with adrenaline. And yeah, the fight's pretty basic. All you gotta do is strafe a little bit to dodge the attacks, and just keep your distance. So far, we're doing pretty good. Can't lie. And after a surprisingly little amount of time, I made it to the first bullet hell. Alright, not bad. I could have definitely done better there, but it'll be okay. And I just kept going, dodging, hitting my shots, all it took. And after not too long, I already made it to phase 2, where the twins came out. Nice, twins. And I actually really loved this part of the fight. Despite me absolutely destroying them with my bow, it was really fun and a lot harder than the rest of the fight. But after not too long, I got one out of here, and then with adrenaline, I got the other. Then not long after that, I did enough damage to get her down to another phase, where I realized that... Okay, wait, I put my Daedalus Stormbow away. It might have been really helpful for this phase. I think it'll be okay, but would have been nice to have. And this phase is where the pace started to pick up a little bit. There were a lot more projectiles and they were a lot harder to dodge, but I could do it. As long as I just stayed focused and kept hitting my shots, I could win, but I needed to stay consistent. A little bit of corner here, but that's okay. I want to get the thing circling her, like, out. It's really hard to aim just for them, though. I have to, like, go at the side a little bit. I don't know if I even have to, so I didn't worry about it. And eventually, after more consistency, I made it to the final bullet hell. Don't worry about it. Oh, if I could get them out now, though, that would be nice. I do need to focus on dodging all the projectiles here, though. Took a few hits there, but not enough to kill me. And after tanking a few hits, I began to near the end of the fight. Okay, so most of those are out of here. That's good. Adrenaline. That might finish it out. Come on, come on. Hey, nice. Let's go. Perfect. After a surprisingly easy fight, I had beaten another boss, and I was beginning to realize that this was possible. I could beat Calamity in less than 100 days. But to do that, I had to continue pushing. And that began with continuing day 18 by correcting my failure against the Brimstone Elemental. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get Brimstone Elemental out of here. I should be able to win. It was last time I couldn't see the projectile as well because of the background. So, hopefully we can do this. I don't think it's because I couldn't see them. I swear I died to invisible projectiles. But anyway, the beginning of this fight was pretty basic. Dodging, running, shooting my bow. All simple things. And I was doing a good amount of damage. Adrenaline. I'm doing good damage. I feel bad because the music isn't here because it's still playing from after I killed Calamity's clone. It's a banger though still, so it's alright. Regardless, I continued fighting a really good fight, dodging and getting in as much damage as possible. We're doing decent damage. Not great, not bad though, nowhere near bad. Especially with this bow. And thankfully, eventually, after taking a few hits and fighting some more, not bad, not bad. Ow. Easy, cool. There's the music, hell yeah. Now this fight was really gonna turn up. The strategy I was trying to apply was using the Hellfire arrows I had obtained to try to get pure damage against her. Then, to try to get the little guys that followed her out, I used Jester arrows to hit them all at once with its piercing effect. Yeah, I hate that. And then from then on, I just tried to stay consistent, dodging the best I can. Until... What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Sorry, I had a potion, so I used it, but we're good. We got health. What did I hit there? Not too sure. Okay, I see what hit me, but either way, it was invisible, and I still don't know how it hit me. Regardless, I finally started to get into a rhythm, and my dodging actually got a lot better as the fight went on. Yeah. Good dodge, okay. Nearing the end. Still gotta be careful. Like any other fight, if I'm not careful, I could get caught and I could die. So I had to stay focused the entire time. That'll get us close. And with that, I got her down to 10,000 health. And now, I just had to dodge because I knew I was doing enough damage, especially if I could get another adrenaline. Easy. Come on, try to switch directions. And after some more dodging, I got exactly what I needed. If I can get this one last adrenaline, I win. GG, Brimstone. Just die, bro. You're so low. Oh. Easy. There we go. Cool. Good stuff. I then went back to the surface where a blood moon was happening, and I actually decided to stay and grind for blood orbs because I would need them for bloodstone in the future. Gosh, I'm saying blood a lot. I also found this guy. What the hell? Anyways, after grinding for a bit, once day 19 rolled around, I was ready to fight and make more progress. So, I made my way to the jungle for the next boss in line, and since I already found her arena previously, I didn't have to waste time looking for it, meaning I could immediately summon and fight Plantera. Alright, I think I win this. I think. But we're gonna find out, I guess. Let's go. Decent damage, decent damage. Let me translate for you. Not a lot of damage. Before doing the fight, I prepared a whole lot of nothing. So I have a really bad bow, and I just straight up wasn't doing it. Like, it wasn't reforged, it was hollowed and not chlorophyte. And poor preparation led to minimal damage. So this actually ended up being a really long fight. And the majority of the beginning of it is pretty much exactly what you're seeing now. I just circled around the middle island to dodge and just kept trying to land as many shots as possible because, again, trying to go fast and not doing a lot of damage doesn't really go together. So I had to try to land as many shots as I could if I wanted to get her down as quick as possible. All right, so this is taking quite a while, but we're alive and we're still going strong. So consistency, consistency, consistency. That's what these fights come down to. And it's always the bottom line. Is just if I can stay consistent for however long the fight goes, I can win. And knowing that, I gave it my best. But still, you have to adapt sometimes. Ooh, I fell in the pit. Okay, jeez. I'm gonna cover that up. Make sure that doesn't happen again. And that is what I mean by adaptation. Being able to quickly fix random situations that occur. However, there are some situations that you can't really fix in the heat of the moment. You know what I should have done before this? I should have gotten a chlorophyte shotbow. Oh my gosh, with chlorophyte arrows. That would have been marginally better and smart. But I think I can win this. I'm pretty sure I can win this. We're doing good on health. But time was still of the essence. And honestly, I began to worry if this would be detrimental to the amount of time that I had. Also should have reforged my repeater because it's minus 20 damage. That's pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But either way, I continued fighting. Shooting, dodging, circling, dodging, shooting, just doing my best to do anything to get damage and not die. Because I could still win this. Yeah, it would take a long time, but I could still win and it would be worth it. And eventually, after way too long, I made it to phase 2. And I truly wish I could say that things picked up here, but again, I was just doing so little damage that it was just taking so long. From time to time, I would get adrenaline or rage and that would help, but still, with the bow I had, I just wasn't doing a lot. Okay, not bad. Try to get these little guys out of here. And I stayed consistent and applied strategies and just kept fighting. And kept fighting. And kept fighting. This fight was truly taking so much longer than I intended it to, but either way, I kept pushing. And because phase 2 was pretty similar to phase 1, it was pretty much just the same thing, circling, dodging, shooting, but eventually things actually did start to get a little bit tougher. Oh my gosh, ropes. Yep. We're alive. And I have a potion that I don't have to use it. I can save it at least for a little bit. To use natural regen to get my health up. And as I continued phase 2, I just did what I do best. Circle, dodge, shoot my bow, all that. That's working pretty well. And those tiny strategies, like saving my healing potion because I didn't need it yet, are actually what I think helped me even do this playthrough in the first place. And despite me getting hit just a couple times. Hi, nice to meet you. Give me a big kiss. Oh, yeah, I was almost hit again. Alright, pop a potion. It's alright though. We're still doing okay. I slowly crept my way towards the end of the fight. And with rage after rage, adrenaline after adrenaline, her health ticked closer and closer to 0. Alright, we're nearly there. That was good damage, that was good damage. Should just stop dashing at me. Finish this out. If you can't tell, I was kind of fed up. This fight lasted ages. Not where I want to be. But eventually, after way too long, I should be it. And there we go. Easy peasy. Took a long time, longer than I wanted, but we got it done regardless. If I had a little bit more preparation, like if I would have been a little bit smarter, I could have done that a lot quicker. I gotta remember time is of the essence, and I gotta plan better. Regardless though, we did it. Easy. I was flying through bosses. Only 18 days had passed, and I had already began to near the end of vanilla Terraria's bosses. I got coffee. Dude, I freaking love coffee. Anyway, I then went back to the jungle of the mine for some chlorophyte where I found this guy. Does that mimic think that he's hiding? I can see you, buddy. Comment down below what we should name that mimic. Something dumb because he's bad at hiding. Either way, I continued mining until I found this slime, which made me realize that I can get perennial ore? I guess I forgot about it. Okay, that's really good. So I continued day 19 grinding for perennial ore, which I used to make Reaver armor, arguably one of the best armor sets the Calamity has to offer, along with a blade edge railbow. I spent the rest of day 19 getting a little more chlorophyte, and because I was trying to go fast, I hopped down to the jungle temple, and after making my way through it, I decided to make a quick arena and throw an attempt at Golem, because if I could kill him, I would already be nearly done with all of vanilla Terraria. Alright, I don't know if I win this, but I have to try, so we're gonna try. Overall, the beginning of this fight is pretty simple. Go back and forth from side to side to not get hit and land as many arrows as possible. I have just about everything I can think I can need, besides like an Omni bridge. That would be nice. 4 or 5 arrows actually make it really easy because they bounce off walls, so pretty much any shot you shoot is gonna hit him at some point. We're doing good damage. We're doing really good damage actually. His hands are already getting near dead. I could already tell I was doing so much more than I was doing against playing Terra. I know it doesn't seem like it, but Golem has a lot of health, so I wasn't too shocked that I wasn't doing a ton, but regardless, again, I was doing a lot better. Adrenaline stuff. Try using this bow a little bit. Blade edge railbow. Kind of like that name. It's kind of cool. All right, so we've got one of the hands out of here. Got both of them. Nice, good stuff. Pretty early on, I got both of them out of here, and I was already feeling pretty confident. This is why I wanted to get the chlorophyte arrows, because they bounce off the walls. So, oh my gosh. So it makes fights like this in an enclosed space a lot easier and a lot faster. And again, though his health was just kind of ticking down, it was ticking down way faster than it was earlier. And honestly, I think I can attribute that purely to the chlorophyte arrows. I took a hit there, but that's all right. we're overall doing pretty good in health. I wasn't able to get all life fruits, but I got a decent amount. I got 11, which put my health up a ton. So either way, it should be okay. Oh, I gotta fix my glasses. Oh my gosh. All right, so I gotta stay a little bit more above him because of that one attack where he pans. This one. And again, yeah, those small strategies that I was implementing are really what carried me throughout these fights. But still, every time these fights came down to one sole thing, and that's consistency. I had to be able to play consistently if I wanted to win. Okay, so there's a tell. It's his eye kind of flashes. I did not notice that before, so that's good to know. I'll be looking for that. There it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're good. We're good. Head is about an 1/8 left, something like that, something around there. It's almost out. Easy. And as I put all these different puzzle pieces together, I began to get into a rhythm. Despite this, that was dumb. That was dumb. I began to near the halfway point of this fight. There we go. Now is when it really picks up though, so I gotta be more careful. And that couldn't be more true. Calamity Golem has a few attacks that can catch you off guard, and with how long Plantera took, I couldn't afford to lose, purely for time's sake. Adrenaline? Very nice, very nice. Good damage. That was very close though. This fight was really picking up, but I was doing it. I was getting shots in, dodging. I was doing all the right things until... Oh no, my nose itches. My nose itches. Oh, give me a second. Okay, I got it. Alright, we're good.
And his name is John C.
Whew, barely dodged that. Okay, watch out for the Circle of Death there. Weirdly enough, that attack, the Circle of Death, as I called it, is one of the most dangerous attacks. Because if I get caught in that, I could very well lose. That's so awkward. Okay. Ooh, we're good though. Adrenaline again. Wow. At this point, I was doing surprisingly well. Much better than I thought I would. That's annoying. Okay, it's fine. I dashed at the wrong time. Alright, I kind of prematurely popped a potion there when I didn't need to. But it's alright. It's alright. Just gotta hit my shots. Despite taking a few hits here and there, I was, again, doing great. As long as I could stay consistent as usual, just land my shots and dodge well, I could win. So I did my best to do exactly that. So the tell for that attack where he kind of shoots the lasers down at me is when he is, I think it's literally just when he goes above my head. Ow! Oh my gosh, I'm taking too much damage. I need a potion soon. 10 seconds though. Now, the fight was really getting hectic, but I still just did my best because that's all I could do. Come on, dodge better. I know I can. Alright, we're getting near the end. 7,000 health. So we get it. Oh, I got adrenaline again. Let's go. That might be able to finish it out. Come on. We're there. Boom, dude. First try. This is too easy. Come on. Let's go. I was so confident that I could do this now. Only a sheer 20 days into this playthrough, and I had killed Golem. And I kept moving, starting a solar eclipse right after I got home. Eventually, I found and killed a Mothron. And after getting lucky and getting a broken hero sword, I made this. The Arc of the Ancients. It was now going to be even harder to pick between range and melee because of how much I absolutely love this weapon. Regardless though, after finishing the solar eclipse, I wanted to do a certain boss for a very specific reason, and that was Anahita and Leviathan. So, on the night of day 20, after making a quick arena at the ocean, I found Anahita and summoned her. Alright. Let's go. Anahita and Leviathan. Let me tell you, I went into this fight with so much confidence because one, I think they're kind of easy, and two, if I could get what I was going for, then I truly believe that that would actually lock in my chances of beating this challenge. I win this fight 10 times out of 10, dude, I swear. Come on, I got this. See, just a little confident. Regardless, the beginning of this fight is just me against Anahita, and honestly, her attacks are extremely easy. She sort of reminds me of Cryogen, but, and I don't mean to flame her, kinda easier. The Arc of the Ancients is very good. I always forget. And after a minute or so more of easy dodging and attacking, Anahita got tired of my bullying and dipped for some help. There we go. Phase 2. The beast himself. Now, I would say this is where the fight actually gets a little bit tougher, but still, it's not terrible. Even so though, I had to use a little bit of strategy and still had to be careful, because I did not want to lose. It's very hard to get close, so I don't think I'm going to be able to use the Arc of the Ancients on him, which is okay, I could use it on the little tadpoles that he spawned though, and that was extremely nice. Anyways, this portion of the fight wasn't terrible. The main thing was dodging whatever the hell he was spitting at me, but even that got pretty troublesome at times. Even so, I continued to dodge and stop anything he threw at me as I jammed out to this glorious track. Jeez, it's so good. Alright, so we're doing plenty of damage, right? But not great, not terrible though. Since I couldn't get close, I couldn't use my arc, so I couldn't do much damage, and thus the rest of this phase went pretty much the same until I slowly crept his health down to the last phase. Alright, now phase 3, we got Anahita back. Being the hardest phase for me, I had to focus up now. I think I'll be able to take Anahita out first. That might be the play. Not sure, but ooh. I hit a decent amount there, that was not good. Now, I was solely focused on, well, first off, staying alive since I could not lose this, but mainly getting just one of them out so that I don't have to focus on both of them at once, where I could then get the next one easier. So I focused on dodging, and if I was going to get one of them out first, it would be Anahita, so I targeted her. Good damage. Almost got Anahita out of here, actually. Only about a minute into phase 3, and Anahita was nearly gone. Still, though, I had to be careful because the Leviathan was still a huge threat. Do I need to try getting a little bit more damage on the Leviathan? This is awkward. It's alright, though. I have a potion if I need it at any point. Pop it real quick. But pretty soon, after that little mishap, Anahita. Okay, there's Anahita. That was just the beast. This is the easy part. The final stretch of the fight, and something I already had the rhythm down for. Me versus Leviathan. Damage. Good stuff. And we're about there. Boom. Easy. Unfortunately though, I didn't get it. So, day 21, I tried again, but I didn't get what I wanted again. So I spent the rest of day 21 doing what I could to make a little bit more progress. And that included scavenging the Abyss for Scoria ore, which I would need for life alloy, and the Abyss chests, which actually turned out to be sorta useless. Another thing I got down there was something called Planty Mush, which I didn't even know this, but could be used to make life fruits. So I went back to the Abyss for more, but for some reason I just didn't get enough to max out my health. And after going back home and realizing this, I went back to the Abyss, but once again, for some reason I didn't get enough. So after dying and not being able to make enough, I just went back to the jungle and got 2 more. One to max out my health, and another to make something called the Sanguine Tangerine, which increased my health by 25. The rest of day 21 into day 22 was generally just grinding. I went to the tundra to find cryonic ore, and I don't know why, but I couldn't for ages, but I eventually did. I also found this igloo looking thing. Yo, what's that? This was nuts to me because even after playing Calamity as much as I have, I'm still finding things I've never seen before. Anyways, after I got back to the surface, I wanted to make some life alloy. But first, I needed some more perennial ore, so I got some of that first. With the life alloy, I can now make a few more things, including something called the miracle fruit, which would be another addition to my maximum health. However, I needed another life fruit, so I went back to the jungle to continue back and forth for another one, which let me craft the fruit, which increased my health by another 25. I then went to the Cloud Islands to grab some Aerialite to make the Terrorblade, but as the pattern of day 22 continued, I didn't have a broken hero sword, so I went ahead and summoned the Solar Eclipse. But this ended up being useless because as I looked at the recipe browser, the broken hero sword couldn't even make anything that I wanted, including the Terrorblade, so I ditched that idea and went back underground to a mushroom biome to farm for truffle worms because now it was time for Duke Fishron. I wanted to kill Duke Fishron, mainly because I wanted his wings, but he also dropped a bow that I wanted as well, so killing him was a must, and as the daytime of day 22 faded, I summoned him. Starting off the fight, I was clearly lacking damage-wise, but at this point, I was sorta used to it. Yes, it was bad that I wasn't doing as much damage as I wanted to, but I do believe that it would have been worse if these fights took multiple attempts. So not once did I choose to die and reset to try to get a better weapon, but rather I pushed through and committed every time. Regardless, this fight is one that I do not take lightly. Personally, it's incredibly tough for me, and if I wanted to win first try as to not waste time, I had to be focused. So I was focused. I didn't talk a lot, and I did my best to get every single little piece that would push me towards victory right. I did my best with dodging, aiming, reading his attacks, all to compensate for the biggest thing that I was missing. We're doing good damage-ish, kinda. I mean, we're doing kind of how it always is, honestly. How it's been this playthrough is I'm doing not great damage, but I'm doing enough, you know? As usual, I was doing minimal damage, so I tried to use different strategies. And with the Arc of the Ancients plus Adrenaline, I eventually made it to phase 2. Now, this phase actually started off pretty well. His attacks were pretty easy to read, as his pattern is dash 3 times, attack, dash 3 times, attack. Because of this, I stayed consistent for an incredibly long time, about 2.5 minutes, without taking much damage at all. But that was a long time, and remember, I'm trying to go fast, so while I might have been winning the fight, I was losing time, and I didn't know if it was worth it. Eventually though, I ticked his health lower and lower until I finally did enough damage to make it out of phase 2. Took a lot of damage there, that was not great. But phase 3 is the hardest one, and things picked up quick. My only saving grace is that his pattern is, again, predictable. 1 dash, teleport. 1, 2 dashes, teleport. And 1, 2, 3 dashes, teleport, with random attacks strewn about. So as long as I kept counting his dashes as I dodged, this was doable. And for about another minute, that's exactly what I did. Ow. Until... Ooh, I did not see that. I couldn't see it behind the background, or in front of the background, I guess I could say. Or because of the background. There we go. Found it. I'm gonna die. I was so low, my confidence was waning, and I started to lose my focus. But I had ticked his health down bit by bit to less than a quarter left. I had to win. I couldn't waste this opportunity. Wasn't great, but it's okay. I think I win this. I think. Ow. Where's my parry? Oh, I missed it the one time I had it. Are you kidding me? There we go. Wings? Oh, and the bow. Yo, that's so nice. Okay, we got the wings and we got the bow. That's literally exactly what I wanted. Okay, perfect. I still can't believe how lucky I got here. Love to see that. Anyways, as I looked at the next few bosses, I had a lot of options. I didn't want to and really shouldn't do all of them purely for time's sake, so I had to make a choice. However, I will say I landed on a very strange option. I am going to go back and do some previous bosses that I missed, that I didn't do because I just didn't get around to them. So that starts with, we're going to do the Queen Bee, we're going to do Deerclops, we're going to do Crabulon, we're going to do Aquatic Scourge, we're going to do Astrum Aureus, and then we'll be moving on to the current ones. So yeah, started with Crabulon. Yeah. I was going to do the past bosses who don't drop anything special, wouldn't be a challenge, and just seem like a plain old waste of time. Now, you probably want to know why, and I promise there's a reason, but I'm going to keep that hidden until later. For now, it was time to start day 23 with the crab himself. All right, let's go, buddy. Oh, I'm melting his health. Before I kill him, though, I do want to jam out. My rhythm sucks. Okay, fine. Okay. I think I missed every single beat there, but anyway, after Crabulon, I was planning on doing Astrum Aureus, but I forgot that I actually need to decrypt some schematics before I could. So, after grinding a little bit for the resources for his summon, I used the code breaker I set up earlier to start decrypting schematics that would unlock the recipe for his summon. While I waited for that, however, I made my way to the jungle to fight Queen Bee. Boom. Easy does it. After that, I went straight to the tundra to fight this guy. Deerclops. Hi, buddy. Easy. And now, day 23. It's time for me to explain why I'm doing all this in the first place. Alright, now, we're doing old bosses, right? Which is, it seems kind of pointless, fruitless, meaningless, whatever. However, there is a point to it. The reason that I'm doing all these bosses is because I want to get this. The community. Basically, the community is an accessory that scales according to how many bosses you've killed. So, in doing past bosses, if I were to get this accessory, it would then be stronger, and it would continue to get stronger the more I kill future bosses. So, near the end of the daytime of day 23, I went back to the ocean and fought Anahita again. This time though, once I killed her, Ooh, finally. Okay, cool. Got it. That's exactly what I was going for. Perfect. And I continued to try to make it stronger with the next past boss. And now we can do Aquatic Scourge. This fight wasn't too special since it was way in the past progression-wise, but at times I did take a surprising amount of damage. Either way though, after not too long, easy. And now that I had the summon for Astrum Aureus, it was time to fight him as well. Astrum Aureus, on the other hand, was a lot closer to where I am progressionally, so this fight was a lot more of a challenge. For some reason, it's pretty hard for me to dodge a lot of his attacks, especially when he jumps, and the worst part is that his hits do an ungodly amount of damage. That hurt bad. However, while I took a lot of damage, we're doing great damage though, so I might be able to win this. It just depends on if I can get a potion off, maybe heal. Oh, not do stuff like that. I was doing plenty of damage. He was already about a quarter down. I just had to be able to dodge, and I could win. That was good. That was good. That damage in, get the damage in. We're doing good damage. Melted and stuff, bro. So I did my best with dodging, circling, and just trying not to get caught with any attacks. Nice. I also made sure to apply some strategy to ensure that I could win this fight, like saving my potion. I have a potion, but I do kind of want to save it. And with a shot of adrenaline, I got him down to about half health, really early on in the fight too, which felt great compared to how little damage I was doing against some of the previous bosses. And now I knew that I just had to focus on dodging. Easy. Damage in, damage, damage, damage. Which we're doing really good damage still. Just gotta be a little cautious. Oh, we got pirates coming? Alright. Let me get the stun. And yeah, I did great for pretty much the entire fight until... Oh, okay. Again. Alright. But we're pretty much there. I should win. A couple seconds. And there we go. Easy peasy. Love to see it. I gotta do some pirates. And after having some fun with them, I spent the beginning of day 24 grinding, going down to the dungeon for some ectoplasm. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. Hi guys, welcome to the party, welcome to the party. I used this to make some cores of Calamity, but I didn't really need them yet. As I was looking through bows, however, I saw a Scoria bow that I wanted to try out. But the one I got from Duke was way better anyway, so I just kept using that. Now though, it was time. Back at the dungeon stood my next enemy, and halfway through day 24, I fought him. It was time for Lunatic Cultist. Starting off, I was surprisingly doing great damage, and thankfully, his attacks aren't too hard to dodge, so this fight started off great. And with perfect dodging, I got adrenaline really early on, and I got him down a ton right after the fight just started. But the perfect run didn't last forever. We're actually doing beautiful damage right now. Yeah, I just messed up on the pick, but I just had to start talking, didn't I? Should be okay. Got him out of here. The Phantasm Dragon, or at least almost. There it is. Didn't hit a little bit more than I would want. It's okay though. It's okay. Ooh, I messed up there. Yeah. And in an instant, I was the one who was down to half health, and I needed to focus up. Easy. I've said this about a lot of previous bosses, but Cultist does a lot of damage, especially with that one Stardust attack, so I could get caught easily. But if I was focused, I was doing enough damage, so I just had to dodge really, really good. Got it there. Okay. 10 seconds, then I have a potion, which I really need, actually. Hit it. And with that hit, I was one shot, and I still had a lot more of the fight left. Thankfully, though, I got it off. Yet, if I take a few more hits, I'm dead. He's pretty low, but so am I. Get out of my way. I had to lock in now. It was a completely even match. I could die from just a few hits, but he was super low. Easy. But after playing just good enough... So, yeah. I win. Boom. Let's go, dude. Making progress. Come on. It's only day 23. It's only day 24, actually. 23 days have passed. And we just beat Lunatic Cultist. Yo, let's go. I was shocked with the pace I was making. Less than a quarter through my maximum time, and I was one fight away from beating vanilla Terraria. Right after him though, I found myself back in the jungle because I wanted to make this, the Ambrosial Ampule, which I needed living shards for, which dropped from Plantera. So after a quick fight with her, I made my way to the solar pillar because I also needed solar fragments for the accessory. Holy orange, oh my gosh. I'm turning my background back on, that was bad. Anyways, I fought until I had just enough fragments before making my way back home where I made the Ambrosial Ampule, as well as the Asgard's Valor, which would grant me one of Calamity's best mechanics, a ram dash. As I continued day 24 grinding, I wanted to do the next boss for a very specific accessory, and that was Ravager. After getting the resources and making his summon, I finished out day 24 with a battle. Alright, Ravager, let's go. This fight's a weird one. It's not terribly hard to dodge his attacks, but I wasn't doing a great amount of damage. Better than I was doing against some past bosses though, so I wasn't too worried about it. Either way, all I had to do was kind of just run and go up and down, dodge the projectiles, dodge the walls, and just shoot my bow. That's really all it was. From time to time, I would get a rage or an adrenaline, and that would help a ton though. Alright, so we're doing decent damage, not bad damage. I mean, yeah, I'm not too sure what to say. This isn't too terribly hard. I mean, I'm getting pretty lucky, I will say, with the projectile tosses and whatnot, but it's also not too terrible, so. A lot of the fight did drag out since it was pretty much just running and dodging, but I was doing good damage. Something happened to him. Oh, his head came off. Nice. That shouldn't be a problem. Gotta be careful, the projectiles. Ooh, my gosh, that was close. I want to get a little bit closer just so I make sure I'm getting damage in. That's really all I was missing. I could dodge good, but if I could do more damage, I could get this out earlier, and that would be perfect. Adrenaline, wow, nice. And since I was dodging good, I was getting a lot of adrenaline, which is helping a ton. Okay. I'm gonna try to turn around. I don't want to be in the back vortex pillar at all. Got hit by a wall there, but that should be fine. It didn't do too much damage. We're doing good in health. I have a potion. Ooh, that was close, but we didn't get hit. We're good. Just gotta stay consistent here. Nice. The foot is almost out of here, so I'm trying to go up. I'm also gonna try to turn around. Let's go this way, buddy. Adrenaline again. Nice. That was really close. I did not like that. I really don't like that. And that was the gist of the fight. Just slowly ticking his health down as I dodged the best I could. Doing plenty of damage. Do not need to worry about that. I do need to work on not touching his head as much as I can because I think it actually does damage, which isn't great. Turn around again. Get to the pillar. And all I had to do was just stay consistent. If I could keep the rhythm that I had going, then I could win. And despite me not doing great damage, I was doing enough. And I knew that this fight wouldn't take that much longer. Same pattern. Adrenaline, but max health. I don't like the cloud island here. It's kind of uncomfortable. Oh, we're alive. We're good. My nose itches again. Scratch that. Turn this around. Yeah. Ooh, ram dash coming to clutch there. Okay. But honestly, this was pretty easy. I even had time to just scratch my nose in the middle of the fight. Over. Almost have adrenaline once again. Wow. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, we're doing great damage. Honestly. Turn this around. And after not too long, I began to near the end of the fight. Adrenaline. And rage. This should finish it out. Almost there. There we go. Easy. Hey, I got it. The blood pact. This is exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Got the infernal blood, which increases the duration of rage mode by 1 second. Easy does it. And there we go. It was merely day 25 and I was nearly perfectly prepared to fight the final boss of vanilla Terraria. To finish out the grinding that I had to do, however, I made my way to the skies to get resources for angel treads, specifically a harpy ring, more specifically, feathers. Then it was time to finish out the last pillars. And this is why I love Nebula Pillar. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Oh, I'm gonna die. Chill. Okay, so Nebula Pillar is great, dude. Are y'all gonna chill now? However, I made a slight mistake. I saved Stardust for last. Go Vortex down. Now, this seems fine, right? The order shouldn't matter. But Stardust just so happened to be right on top of the Astral Biome, meaning that I couldn't do Astrum Deus before Moonlord as I had originally planned. But I couldn't not act, so I decided to just bite the bullet and finish out the pillar to summon the final boss of vanilla Terraria. Alright, so we're doing good damage. We're doing good damage. I need to watch for the laser now. Coming soon. There it is. Easy does it. Yeah, we're doing great damage. I should be careful not to take much. Really try to dodge. And I think we're going to be able to do this first try. I had to use Rod of Discord there, otherwise I would have taken more damage than I did. Unfortunately, still got hit, but that should be okay, because I didn't take a ton of damage. Still a lot. Let's focus a little bit more on the top eye. Dodge the laser this time. Yep, there we go. That was good damage, okay. Watch the top eye. Zoom out a little bit, so I can see everything. Yep, let's get around. Easy does it. His top eye's already getting kind of low, and I got adrenaline. Okay, that was pretty good. Obviously, his hands are both pretty much already out. Both of them. I'm gonna switch to the other hand because I don't want to get them out one at a time. I want to do them all three if I can. Obviously, the top eye is going to be last. I didn't want to risk getting hit by the laser there. I got hit by the eye, though. So, bad placement for my Rod of Discord, but still better than what could have happened. So, I'll take it. I do have a potion. I'm going to save it, but I do have a potion ready in the case that I get hit bad. Try to aim for that top eye a little bit better. Get in there with this thing. Yeah, good damage, good damage. I like that, I like that. Rage. Alright, got one eye out. About to get the next. I do want to get this top eye while I have adrenaline. A lot of damage, Love to see it. Nice, good stuff, okay. Around, easy. Yep. Damage. I didn't get hit too much there, which is good. I just want to focus on that top eye. Get that damage in. Careful. That was a little bit risky. I didn't like that as much. And about to get the second eye out. There we go. All focus needs to be on that top eye. Okay, that was close. I did not like that. Not one bit. We almost have adrenaline. I don't want to use it yet, particularly because the eye just closed. If I can save it, though, and not get hit until he reopens his eye, that would be ideal. There it is. It's open. Okay. The damage. Might have to use Rod here. Yep. Easy, though. Might get it out. Please get out. Okay, 7,000 health left on the top eye. We did good damage there, though. It's pretty much out. So, he opens it one more time. We get it out. And then core, and then we're done. Dodge the laser. I think I might be able to do more damage with this thing. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. Now core. And that's it. We're doing great. Dodge this. Easy. Okay, I need to watch these flares, or these eyes. I don't know what they're called. Okay, watch the laser. That was good. I had to use a potion, but shouldn't be too big of a problem. I just need to make sure I'm watching that top eye and not getting hit by that laser. Because that's what's going to be detrimental here. If I can dodge this, though, then I should be able to do it. Got hit by a couple flares there, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Beautiful. Okay, I like how the eyes are synced up. I don't know if that was... It wasn't intentional. I don't know if that... It's like... Rod of Discord. Beautiful. That was perfect. Okay, cool. Rod of Discord saving my life right here. I don't want to rely on it, but it is very nice. Alright, now we're going to do adrenaline. Good damage. Laser, yep. Yeah, that was coming. That was good. Alright, we're taking barely any damage. We're doing decent. We're doing decent damage. So, just stay consistent and not gonna win this. Watch those flares. Watch the top eye. It's gonna open. It's open. Yep. Start going around. Easy. Get under. Nice. That was beautiful. Almost have a rage. I'm going to try to save it because I want to use it with adrenaline, and that compound damage will do a lot more than if I just use rage now. And now I have adrenaline. Use both. We're going to melt his health. 4,000, 5,000 damage per second. Nearly 6,000 damage per second. Beautiful stuff. Alright, watch the laser. Yeah. I think I can get over. Yeah, easy. Keep going for that core. Come on. Dodge. Nice. Watch the eyes. Here they are. Okay. Come down. Easy. Pick them out. Watch the laser. There it is. Nice. Good timing. Almost have adrenaline again. Just gonna use it. 2,000 damage, 3,000 damage per second, 4,000. Beautiful stuff. Okay. I don't want to get too far so that I know that I'm hitting the core. Because if I don't know that I'm hitting the core, then I'm wasting shots. Laser. Good. I loved that. That was beautiful. Good damage. Okay, got hit. I got hit a little bit there, but that isn't a problem. I dodged the laser. Beautiful timing. Use right at this. Yeah, that was good. Okay, I had to use a potion, and I still got hit twice, so need to be careful. We're nearing the end, though. His health is very low. I am going to have to dodge at least one more laser, though. Go up. Get up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Melting his health bar. Let's go. Come on. If I can get adrenaline one more time, then I win. And even if I don't get it, I win. I'm not going to. I need to dodge the laser now. Yeah. Had to use Rod Discord there, but I used it perfectly. So we're good. 16 seconds that I have a potion. 14. If I need it, that is. I do need to make sure I dodge these flares better, because I have been getting hit by those quite a bit. So. Easy. Take a big circle, and that's game. Peace. Hello, buddy. Ooh, what the hell? There we go, though. 25 days in, and all of Pre-Moonlord is done. Well, not all of Pre-Moonlord, but most of it. I'm very pleased with that. A quarter through my maximum time, and I was already more than halfway done. The pace I was making was incredible. I was going infinitely faster than I predicted I would, but that doesn't mean that I was for sure able to do this. I didn't know how Calamity would go. If the final few bosses would be too hard, I was still uncertain. But there was one thing I did know for sure. I was going to try my hardest to do this, and I would never give up. And that started with some more grinding. The very end of day 25 into the beginning of day 26 was spent up in space mining the Luminite asteroids that spawn upon defeating Moonlord. There was also a really cool planet that I had to do a quad take to make sure it was real. With the Luminite that I obtained, I could now make a lot more things, starting with the continuation of the Arc of the Ancients. Arc of the Elements, hell yeah. I could also make a new hook, some better wings which I needed some more Souls of Flight for, and then something entirely separate that I just simply missed earlier, called the Deadshot Brooch, which I used to fill my new 7th accessory slot. Now, this thing was nice. It reminded me of the Fire Gauntlet, only for ranged rather than melee. Regardless, I continued day 26 with a Martian invasion. I don't know why, I just found a probe and said screw it. It was pretty fun though. And quick. Anyways, day 6 truly continued with Astrum Deus, but right before I did him, I had another moment of indecision. As I was looking at ranged weapons to make, none of them caught my eye, and I know I said I was gonna go for ranged, but I'm having too much fun using these arcs, so honestly, I might have to go melee. Just might have to. Obviously, being a Pre-Moonlord fight, Deus wasn't that bad. However, personally, he is a tougher one for me, so I made sure to be focused the entire time. While it wasn't that bad and I was doing great damage, I did make some mistakes here and there, and he still did a ton of damage when I got hit. But with the Arc of the Elements, I was doing amazing damage, so after only a minute or two, I finished the fight out. Not bad. Easy peasy. After getting him out of the way, it was time to make some true progress. Post-Moonlord starts off with 3 main bosses. First is Profane Guardians, second is Dragon Folly, and third, Providence. So, I continued day 26 by collecting these summons and the resources for them. After making them, I went back to Hell and made a large arena that I would use for both the Profane Guardians and Providence. But before I fought anyone, I wanted to make an Omni Bridge of Fire. This is an addition from Fargo's Mutant mod that makes it so that every arena you have can grant you some great buffs. But it's kind of annoying to make, and I spent the night of day 26 trying to get the resources for one, but I just simply couldn't. So I said screw it, you know what, we're just gonna go for it. Alright, so we're doing decent damage, not terrible damage. And we're not really taking too much either, which is nice. Voiceover me here. I was doing plenty of damage, but the thing about the Guardians is that they will destroy your health if you get hit too many times. So that's what you have to be the most wary about. Not bad, not bad. Vertigo's having a rage. It's nice. Might have to pop a potion pretty soon. Not yet though. Not yet. Here, I was trying to conserve my healing potions the best I could and bank on natural regen just in case I get hit even harder. Which actually worked pretty well, and the fight continued on. Ooh, that was close. Okay, we're good though. Almost got one of them out of here. Or not almost, he's like halfway down. That was good damage. That was really good damage. Despite being the bow that I used for Moonlord, this bow is still actually doing very well. I'm surprised, if I'm being honest. I don't play Ranger a lot, but when I do, man, it's so fun. So, yeah. But yeah, this bow's doing great. Ow. And with the good amount of damage that I was doing, pretty early on, I got the first one out of here. There's one. Not bad, not bad. I got something. The Relic of Convergence, I believe is what I read and what it said. First one dropped an accessory or something. I don't know. It's nothing important. Anyway, as I continued the fight, I was doing really good damage, but I gotta say, they are moving very weird. I don't remember them moving like this, but we'll get it done, we'll get it done. We're doing good damage still. Maybe not great, but enough. Enough damage. So, damage wasn't really my main focus. I wanted this fight to go fast, but I also didn't want to die, so I mainly focused on dodging, especially because of how many projectiles are in this fight. Almost have adrenaline. Boom. But extra damage would still be nice. Man, I didn't get a lot of damage with it, or at least a lot of hits, so that's not great, but it's okay. I'm gonna try switching to this for a little bit. Yeah. Oh, this thing is doing beautiful damage. Okay. I couldn't tell which weapon was better because I could constantly hit them with the bow, but when I hit them with the arc, it did an insane amount of damage. Well, I'm gonna go back to the bow, you know what? I feel safe with the bow. Keep my distance. Zoom out. Not that far. I took a lot of damage there, that's not bad. Aside from taking a few hits here and there, this fight was going pretty smooth so far. And all I had to do was just keep landing as many shots as I could. Yeah, man, this one's taking forever to die. Huh. But I was still doing only minimal damage, and time was, again, of the essence. However, if getting hit does this much damage, then I'll gladly take the little damage over bad dodging. Should be able to get him out right now. Maybe, maybe not. We're close is all I know. While I was kind of close, yeah, I still had to be careful because every single hit I took hurt so bad. 6 seconds, then a potion if I need it. Might as well save it. I was trying to play my cards right and be as strategic as possible because I really wanted to win this. And finally, after doing enough damage, we're so close to getting him out of here. Come on, come on. Okay, well, oh, we got him. Nice. The final phase of the fight. But this is when I had to be the most careful because, again, I could get caught at any point, and I did not want to lose this now that I've come this far. I think range is going to be the way to go. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Get a lot more hits in. Chill with the fireballs, man. Chill with the fireballs. It's not that deep. Oh. There's... Okay, I guess I didn't need to pop that potion, but might as well. Again, I was trying to conserve my potions as best as I could because the longer I can save them, the higher chances I have of surviving a potentially fatal attack. Good damage, good damage. Regardless, as the fight went on, I just kept trying to do as much damage as possible and avoided as many projectiles as I could. Ooh. We're okay. Not bad, not bad. Rage. I lost my adrenaline. Almost had it, at least. Alright, I'm gonna use this potion. Took a hit there, but we're nearly at the end, so should be able to make it from here. Another goblin army. Took a hit there, didn't want to take. Alright, here we are. There we go. We're playing Guardians. Pretty easy, generally. Took a lot of hits, if I'm being honest, but could have been worse. What did I get before? It was nothing important. Either way, though, after defeating the Guardians, I was ready for more. So, after dealing with yet another goblin army, I wanted to go back and do Plaguebringer Goliath, a pre-Moonlord boss from Calamity, because killing him would increase the strength of my community accessory. But, similarly to Astrum Arrayus, his summons recipe requires the decryption of some schematics. So, day 27 was spent primarily searching for Drayden's labs in order to actually be able to make the summon. After exploring and working on my codebreaker, I somehow got incredibly distracted in trying to upgrade it alone that I forgot why I even started upgrading it in the first place. So since the next upgrade required me to kill Providence, I just moved on with the next boss in line instead. And on the evening of day 27, I fought Dragon Folly. Hi, Dragon Folly. Now, here is where I would usually blame Dragon Folly for being irrelevant and annoying, but I can't lie. I enjoyed this fight. Anyways, I was doing decent damage. Not great, but I knew that this fight wouldn't take forever. I'm trying to stay pretty low to the ground because it says that he stumbling over boards. It says he enrages outside of the jungle. So I don't want that to happen. I don't know if it's based on height or just position, but got adrenaline. We're doing decent damage. Not bad. This is gonna take a while, but I really need to make a better bow. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. He was already about a 5th down, so far I wasn't doing terrible. I will say something nice about this fight is that he doesn't throw absolutely every attack known to man at you, and the ones that he does attack you with are relatively easy to dodge. You alright, buddy? Yeah, he good. Yeah, he good. So are we. We're actually not doing bad. Pretty good dodging. Okay, this area is more open, so I'll probably stay over here now. I still wanted to be careful because, again, time is of the essence, and if he did get enraged and I died, that would be a waste of time, whether it be a little amount or a large amount. I'll dodge these, whatever those are. Nah, I brought out of Discord. Alright, we're nearly halfway done, at least approaching it, and the fight was going incredibly smooth so far. I was actually kind of shocked. Taking a little bit too much damage, so I should probably be a little bit more careful. 15 seconds for a potion. That was bad. But then I started to get really low. Okay, I need to use my dash at better intervals because I'm getting hit a lot when I could just be ram dashing and not getting hit. So I gotta save it a little bit better. Potion, not bad. Get his children out of here. That was good. That was good. My cheek itches now. What is it with my freaking face in boss fights? I can't. I don't know, man, but I finally reached the halfway point way later than I expected I would. I'm about halfway done, and it was going pretty good so far. Despite not doing a ton of damage, all of his attacks that are normally pretty hard to dodge, I was dodging. So I kept playing my best, implementing more strategies, like my ram dash into the fight. Careful dash, yep, easy. Also, if I start ram dashing those, obviously I need to time it good, but that'll also do a little bit more damage. It's done easier. Gotta stay consistent. That's always what it comes down to. Staying consistent. If I could just dodge good enough and not take damage, I could win. I want to save my potion, so I'm going to. That was good. That was good. I was implementing the strategies perfectly, and pretty soon I got adrenaline, which would be incredibly helpful. Adrenaline. Wow, nice. It's kind of surprising. And I continued to play a nearly perfect game. Nice. Reactions. Okay. Somehow I did not get hit there. Not entirely sure how, but I'm not complaining. That was close. Doing good. We're doing really good, actually. I wish we were doing a little bit more damage, but we're doing enough, so I don't need to worry too much about that. Adrenaline. That'll help. I want to get this done soon so I can do Empress of Light as well before turns day, because that'll help my community. The rest of the fight was generally the same, using my rain dash and dodging the best I could. It hurts. I still did occasionally get hit. Alright, yeah, that hurt. Use my ram dash. But as I began to near the end of this fight, got adrenaline. Yeah, use that. Use rage too. And that might be it. If I could hit my shots. For oh my god, I just wasted all that. It's okay. It's okay. We're pretty much at the end anyway. So just a little bit more. Even though I wasted the adrenaline and rage, he had just a fraction of his health bar left. Easy peasy. Love to see it. Another down first try. I then started looking through recipes and there was a certain one that caught my eye. A bow called the Planetary Annihilation. And surprisingly, I could make it. Boom. Planetary Annihilation. That is just an upgraded Daedalus Stormbow, and I am here for it. Hell yeah, let's go. So I think that's the best weapon I'm gonna be able to get, at least right now. It caught my eye when I was looking at the recipes, and I think from here on out, I'm gonna focus on ranged. I love melee, and I'm really tempted to keep going for it, but I am gonna focus on ranged. You could probably guess, but That was another lie. Anyways, right before I did Providence, I decided to actually go do some previous bosses now. With that, I believe it's time. Ooh, wait. I have time. And I ended day 27 by fighting the Empress of Light. Alright, which was, predictably, due to it being pre-Moonlord, pretty light. See what I did there? Now, while it was easy, the bow I was using was honestly doing less damage than I expected, which sort of scared me because I thought that it was what I was supposed to use against someone like, say, Providence. Regardless, it was doing enough. So all I had to do was dodge, shoot, dodge more, and shoot some more, and eventually, after only a few minutes, easy does it. I then continued looking through weapons and found this, the Great Sword of Judgment. And I realized, I might have lied again. I might switch to melee. Man, I don't know what was up, but I could not pick a class to save my life. Finally, matter of fact, I'm just gonna go for both. Why don't I just go for both? I'll do that. Yeah, I just landed on doing both. After doing a quick solar eclipse, day 28 continued with me just waiting. I was still hung up on getting an Omni Bridgifier because of how helpful it would be, but it required me to get ladybugs. Damn ladybugs. So I just waited all day. To be fair, I couldn't do Providence until it was actually nighttime, but still. And I couldn't even get any either. Regardless, after spending the daylight of day 28 playing Waiting Simulator, I gave up and just made a semi-Bridgifier instead, which is just a worse Omni Bridgifier. It would still be helpful, and after using it down on my Hell Arena, it was time to fight her, the next in line, the goddess, Providence. Low-key, this bow, okay, it's not bad. Actually, I was about to flame it, like I was about to, but it's doing good, it's doing good. Real quick, pardon the interruption, background. Way easier to see without it. Okay, go. Kinda hard to see my character, but not bad, we did it, no problem. But I also took a lot of damage there. I've posted 20 seconds. So I do need to be a little bit careful. Anyways, the best way I can describe this fight is just an extremely buffed Profane Guardians, which makes sense now that I say it out loud, but still. A lot of the same projectiles, so it's kind of familiar, but it's a lot harder. I'm gonna chill a little bit, make sure I can dodge this. Alright, good. Almost have adrenaline. I don't want to jinx it, but there it is. Beautiful damage. We're doing nearly 8k. It's beautiful. Okay. Even just looking at her health bar, I was doing amazing damage, and I was honestly shocked because based on the representation of this bow that we got from Empress of Light, I didn't think that it was going to do this good, but I was wrong. Ooh, I ran out of light. That's so problematic. Okay. Not what you like to see at all. We're alive though. So 50 seconds though for a potion, so I really got to be careful now. Now 45 seconds, and I can barely take any hits. I was so happy that I was doing a lot of damage, but that's never the thing that these fights boil down to. They're puzzles, multiple pieces that you have to put together in order to solve how to beat. And the piece I had to focus on immediately now was dodging. Okay, I got hit there. Not what you like to see, not what you like to see at all. Ooh, a lot of projectiles. Okay, I really gotta lock in. 17, 16 seconds that I need to dodge as best as I can. 15 seconds. Seconds. Got a potion off. Nice. But just because I popped the potion doesn't mean that it's over. Try to dodge these. I think I got hit. I still had half a fight to go, and I needed to dodge the best I could for that entire time. She's about to do one of her special attacks, I think. Oh, we're going the wrong way. Okay. I have to switch this. I feel like I could have dodged that way better. It's okay. It's okay. I just need to be way more careful. Care. Good. Up, down. Right there. Easy. Come on. I think I got hit there at the end, but that's okay. No worries. Okay. Somehow that did not hit me. Okay, Guardians are here. Gotta be real careful. Now we're really picking up speed, but I was still going strong with only a third of the fight left. I had to use a potion. Can't see the attacks. Okay, somehow dodge that. I want to zoom out a little bit. There we go, there we go. From this point on, I knew that if I could get the Guardians out of here, I could win. So that's exactly what I focused on. Did I kill one of the Guardians? I didn't even realize. Okay, that's good. Spec. Going the wrong way again, dude. Try to get this. Nice. Actually, wait, I might have actually been going the right way and just done that for no reason. Yeah, I totally was. Ha, I hate to see it. Okay. Come on, lock in. I can win this. 8 seconds without a potion. This is easy, come on. Easy. Potion. Max health, meaning that I probably could have saved that potion, but how did that fireball not hit me? No idea. But hey, I'll take it. Okay, those are hitting me. Be careful for that. And besides taking a few hits, I was actually dodging really well for this point in the fight. Come on. Go. Here. Watch that. Yeah. Careful. Down here. That damage in. Damage. Alright, that's it. I'm just go down. Nice, good space. Okay. Try to weave in here. Nice. Beautiful. Up here. I got some hearts, so I'm at max health. This is perfect. Come on. Yeah. 50,000 health. We're doing great damage. We're doing perfect damage the entire time. Try to dodge that. Nice. I have a potion, too. This is an awkward position. Okay, though. Potion. Nice, nice. Not bad, not bad. Survived it. She's so low. Come on. 5,000. 5,000. And there we go. Let's go. Whew. Surprisingly not bad. Okay. As day 28 was coming to a close, Providence had been defeated. So far, all of Post-Moonlord was a breeze, and I was beginning to feel incredibly confident that this was possible. Anyway, killing Providence causes an ore called Eulabloom to spawn, which is one of my favorite ores, by the way. So, day 29 was spent mining for that. Jeez, I love that sound. Anyways, I also made a Blossom Pickaxe, which was nice. And also, look how fast I am. Look at me go. Then, after absolutely obliterating Queen Bee, I somehow almost died to Plantera. But after killing her, I used the Eulabloom that I had collected to make an incredibly good armor set, Tarragon Armor. I also made a bow out of it called the Nettlevine Great Bow, which would be extremely handy against the next boss. I also figured out I could make new, better arrows called Elysian arrows, so I continued day 29 farming for those. Eventually, I made enough to have infinite and... yeah, these things were awesome. I also went ahead and made the Terratomer, an incredibly good melee weapon. I then continued waiting. For some reason, and I don't know why, ladybugs would not spawn. They just wouldn't. Eventually though, I got tired of it and... alright, we're gonna do Flavor and Goliath because Loki, just because I forgot to do him. Kind of funny because I love this boss so much. But you know what? We're doing him now. So, no worries, right? No harm, no foul. Alright? Right, yeah, I was melting his health. Like, I know he's Pre-Moonlord, but still, this is glorious. We're already so over leveled for this that it's gonna be easy. But you know what? That's alright. Yeah, this bow is nuts. I love this bow. I've never used it before. Very nice. Especially with these arrows that I got. Illusion arrows? Yeah. Enough talking though. After a minute or two more of just demolishing his health, I finished the fight out. Boom. Easy. Again, love that boss. Love that boss so much. After Plaguebringer, I remembered that I could make another upgrade to my maximum health called the Tainted Cloudberry, which would too increase my health by 25. I then randomly decided to do the Old One's army because I thought Betsy was included in the bosses that help scale the community's strength, but upon checking, she actually doesn't, so it was pointless. There we go. Either way, I decided that I needed to make some more real progress, and I ended day 29 by beginning the next trio of bosses, the Sentinels of the Devourer, with Stormweaver. Alright, why not? that ass. The beginning went pretty well because the weapons that I had were actually doing great damage. And as long as I could just avoid getting hit, it was going really well. Ooh. But that did prove difficult from time to time. Oh, I was done. Oh, there we go. Phase 1 down. And now the fight actually should get kind of easier because, while yes, his attacks get harder, I can hit his entire body. So I was doing a lot more damage and thus it should go faster. But man, still, his attacks hurt. And I was trying to be careful, but still, sometimes. Apparently I'm not being careful enough because I'm taking so much damage. And as I approached the halfway point of the fight, I personally had much less than half of my health left. And I needed to step it up. 9 seconds, then I have a potion, which isn't terrible. Whew, that was close. Almost have adrenaline. And this adrenaline shot absolutely drained his health. There it is. Easy. Doing great damage, actually. I felt like I had just begun the fight and I already only had 1/3 of his health bar left. So now that I stopped taking so much damage, it was just time to stay consistent and tick his health bar down to 0. I'm confident. I'm gonna switch to Ranger for a little bit. Nice. Okay, going back melee. Nice. That's good. Not 100% where it is. There it is. Alright, we're pretty much there. Bada boom. First servant down. Love to see it. Ooh. Got a new bow. What? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. This bow was actually insane. It's gotta be up there with my favorite Terraria weapons of all time. Anyways, at this point, I didn't have much else to grind for, or at least nothing worth it, so I just decided to continue with the Sentinels. Second servant now. And let me tell you, let's go Cygnus. This fight was fun. Holy crap, this bow is insane. What? What? Oh my gosh. Legit, probably the best bow I've ever seen in all of Terraria. Yo, this is nuts. How have I never seen this before? Oh, this is awesome. Like that. And with it, for the majority of this fight, I just absolutely melted Cygnus's health. Adrenaline. Absolutely melting his health bar. Good stuff. Come on. Even 6,000 damage per second. That's nuts. Okay. This bow was an absolute blessing because it made this fight go incredibly fast, which was super nice compared to how long some of the previous fights had taken. Not bad, not bad. Nearing the end. Dude, I can't even tell what's happening right now. Like, I know what's happening, but it's crazy. Still doing a constant 5,000 to 6,000 damage per second. And 2 servants down. Day 30, by the way. I was shocked by my pace. Not even 1/3 of my time was up, and I was nearly done with the Sentinels. So I pushed on still, making my way to the dungeon to fight the 3rd and final servant, Ceaseless Void. Last servant. Once again, the bow that I got from Stormweaver, it was doing beautifully. His bow is nuts, bro. I freaking love it. And with it, nearly instantly, I was out of the first little portion of the fight. The one thing about this fight, though, is it's pretty much the embodiment of it doesn't matter how much damage you do. If you can't dodge, you will lose. So once again, that's what I had to be focused on. It's very nice because it homes, so I don't really have to worry too much about actually hitting my shots, which sounds kind of pathetic, but hey man, can't hide self from the truth. So yeah, this bow is doing wonders, dude. Holy crap. All right, I had to use a potion real quick, but no worries, no worries. Just need to focus on dodging here. That's what I need to be most worried about. That was good, that was good. Because again, we're doing damage, whether or not I'm trying to. Already done with that phase, so. I was flying through this fight even faster than I thought I would, so I just kept going. Nice, good stuff. Good dodging, good dodging. Boom. Easy. Careful, careful. Yep. risky, but we're okay. Alright, now just chill. Dodge. I have a potion. In case I get hit. Which I shouldn't. It's not enough to need it. Easy. That was nothing. Cool. This is my favorite bow of all time. Before narrator me comes back, apologies for the viewing experience. That might be hard to watch, but there we go. Hopefully it wasn't too bad, but that's the Sentinels of the Scourge all defeated, and it's only day 30. At this point, I was absolutely certain that I would make it before the deadline. That wasn't really my biggest worry anymore, but I still wanted to know, how fast could I do it? How fast can I beat Calamity? Well, if I wanted to beat it fast, then there was only one thing left to do. Press on. So I went back to the dungeon and farmed the skeletons there until he spawned. The next boss on my hit list, the Coalescence of the Dungeon's Souls, Poltergeist. Alright, here we go. Hey, Poltergeist, how you doing? No doubt, one of my favorite Calamity bosses. Looking swag as ever. We're doing pretty good damage, not bad. Somehow this bow just kept following me. I think this bow's definitely gonna be the way to go. In case I need to switch to melee, I can, no problem, Terratome, but I shouldn't need to. Because with this bow alone, he was already nearly down a quarter of his health. And with a shot of adrenaline, he was. Adrenaline already, nice. Stuff. Yeah, we're already doing golden damage-wise, so the fight pretty much just began and I was already so far in. Still, I'll always say it, but I had to be careful, because damage isn't the only thing that matters. Up potion real quick, just be safe. I need to do a little bit, holy crap, I can't talk. I need to do a little bit better dodging. That would be my one problem, but we're doing plenty of damage. Good on that front. And as I approached the halfway point of the fight, I knew exactly what I had to do to win. Keep dodging and keep shooting. And boom, made it to phase 2. And rage. Nice. Melt in the health bar. Let's go. And I continued by continuing to melt his health dashes. Ram dash. I was doing nearly perfect when it came to dodging, and if that was the main thing I had to be worried about, then the rest of this fight was going to be a breeze. Nice. Great damage, great damage. Come on. Yeah. Did I already get his twin down? Because that's crazy if I did. Yeah, I did. And I wasn't stopping there either. Nice. 10,000 12,000 damage per second. That's crazy. Okay. And after only a few minutes, I began to near the end of this fight. Easy. Alright, nearing the end. Got rage. Almost have adrenaline again. Use that, and one. Woo. Let's go, dude. Easy. By the end of daytime on day 30, I only had a few bosses left, and I myself was amazed with this pace. Either way, Poltergeist didn't drop anything too special besides the Ecto Heart, which permanently increases adrenaline mode damage by 20% and damage reduction by 5%. However, with the Ruinous Souls that he dropped, I can now craft Bloodstone armor, but for that I needed actual Bloodstone, which is dropped by enemies back in the Brimstone Crags. So I spent the next 5 minutes and the rest of day 30 grinding for Bloodstone. I then made a fatal error. Did you catch it? Here, I'll slow it down. At first, I didn't even know what happened until I tried to make something and I had to check the recording. I don't want to talk about what just happened, alright? Y'all saw nothing. Ignore the fact that I'm back down here, alright? Y'all saw nothing, okay? I then had to spend 6 more minutes in the end of day 30 through the beginning of day 31 grinding for Bloodstone that I had already obtained. Regardless, afterwards I made Bloodstone armor, which would be incredibly useful. Now though, I made the summon and it was time for him. The Devour. But I knew I could get the Omni Bridgifier, I just needed some ladybugs, so I waited. All day, 0 ladybug spawned. While I waited, I built up my arena. I even did the Martians again, but eventually I gave up on waiting for something that was probably never even gonna come. So it was truly time. After 30 days, on the evening of day 31, it was time for me to fight the infamous otherworldly glutton in the flesh for the serpent himself, the devourer of gods. Doing about 6k with that. Did about 6.5 with this. So 70. So we're using this. Somehow this bow had followed me all the way from the Sentinels to the Devourer himself. And it was still doing great damage. Very hard to see though, I will say. What does this do? Oh, this is doing great too. Even without like a melee helmet. I hurt. There we go. Not bad, doing great damage actually. Better than I thought we were doing. I'm gonna try using this for a while. It might not be doing as good as the other one, but I made it. Might as well. Aw, I got hit. Alright, this one's gonna be doing better. Smarter to use this one. I still can't believe this bow is doing this good. But either way, pretty early on, I made it to phase 2. There we go, phase 1 done. Easy. Let's go, buddy. And even in this phase, I was doing great damage. But remember, fights are always more than that, and I could take just as much. Ow. That hurt. Okay. I used a potion. That's okay. I got my ram dash. But if I applied all the strategies I had and knew, I could win. I can kind of let him constrict me, and then I can get a lot of damage. And maybe some new strategies too. Just be careful about it. Unlike how I was there. Again, they're doing great damage. Okay, he's constricting. Easy. 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 Watch out. Nope. Go this way. Adrenaline is stocking up. Almost have it. Not quite yet, but getting there. Adrenaline. Yep. Nice. Good stuff. Doing a lot of damage. 16k. So it all comes down to dodging, which I did absolutely perfect. Ouch. That did not feel good. Also, is it just me or does it feel like a slur when he calls me worm? Yeah, nice, good damage. Nice. Easy does it. And we're there. Come on. There we go. Easy. Woo. Let's go, dude. Come on. Actually easy, what? I'm kind of shocked, Loki. Somehow, after only 30 days had passed, I had beaten one of Calamity's hardest bosses. DOG. Cosmic Anvil. We have that. Easy. I was so surprised that I was going to easily beat this before the 100 days, but still, I kept grinding. If I wanted to really see just how fast I could do this, then I couldn't stop. So I continued the next 2 days farming, starting with some events to obtain 3 different resources. The first event was the Frost Moon, because its enemies would now drop endothermic energy. Then, between that and the next event, I went down to the Abyss to try and get some more resources, but I ended up dying. I started day 32 by doing the next event, being a solar eclipse, with the new resource its enemies drop being Dark Sun Fragments. After doing that for a while, I began looking at the new weapons I could craft, one of which being the Cleansing Blaze, made from pure Cosmolite bars. This weapon was ranged, but it took gel, so I decided to farm King Slime until I had enough to have infinite. I then went back to the Abyss because I was trying to make a bow called the Monsoon, and it needed Reaper Teeth to craft. But I died, so I went down to Hell to try to find another component that I needed, a Hellwing bow. And thankfully I did, and pretty fast too. But once I went back to the Abyss to get the teeth I needed, I died once again. Twice actually. So instead, I did the third event, the Pumpkin Moon, whose enemies dropped Nightmare Fuel. I wanted to obtain these 3 resources because with them, I can make an item called Ascendant Spirit Essence, which is a necessity in crafting many different endgame weapons and accessories, like the Planebreaker's Pouch, the Chalice of the Blood God, and Godslayer Armor. I did have to farm a little bit more to get enough essence, but once I did and made the full set of Godslayer Armor, I felt unstoppable. So I once again went back to the Abyss to hopefully get some Reaper Teeth, but died again as well. So, back at the surface, I made the summon for the next boss. Before I fought him though, I was still unsatisfied with the weapons I had, so day 33, I kept looking and found something called the Scorched Earth. After grinding and obtaining it though, I realized it might not be as good as I thought it would be. Regardless, I then got a few more Stardust Fragments because with them, I can make the Normality Relocator, an item that allows teleportation without having to hold out a Rod of Discord or anything of the such. You just click a button and you teleport to your cursor, with the cooldown, obviously. But now, it was time. The one who stood in front of me was a phoenix, an auric dragon, the dragon whom was birthed anew from the magma of hell, Yaren. I'm pretty sure this flamethrower is going to be the way to go. I don't have like the best weapon. I don't even know what it is, at least right now. I was going for, well, you guys saw it, but I couldn't get it. So, but I was doing enough to whereas as long as I won first try, it wouldn't be a waste of time. This should suffice. I think I can do this, maybe. I mean, we're going to find out, but I still wasn't 100% certain that I could do this because I still had to live long enough to actually win. I have really good accessories and a freaking rocket launcher, but... pretty close to having adrenaline. That would be nice. Alright, have adrenaline. Can you use it? Nice. Doing 30,000 damage per second. Jeez. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Overall, though, this is going pretty good so far, I'd say. Taking barely any damage. You probably could have guessed it, but of course, I jinxed it. Okay, well, got hit there, but that's alright. It's alright. No worries. And finally, I did enough damage to make it to phase 2. Phase 2, which meant to me that I could win. We're doing really good damage still, so I need to focus on not taking any, and I can win this. Dude, this is such a good soundtrack, dude. I can't. It's so good. Anyways, this phase started off pretty good, and all I had to do was pour my focus into reading and dodging his attacks to the best of my ability. Simple. Easy. I have a potion, I have a teleport, I have everything I need. But I was prepared, and I had everything I needed to play my best. Adrenaline. I didn't get many hits there, which isn't great, but you know what? It'll be okay. Yeah, I was hesitant at first with this, the Cleansing Blaze, which I haven't reforged yet. I didn't even notice. Ooh, that's the wrong way. Hate to see it, hate to see it. But it's doing good. It's doing really good. So... damage, good damage, good damage. Oh, okay. At least it took my adrenaline and didn't actually hit me. I would have liked to use that adrenaline, but you know what? We ball. It's okay. Adaptation. If that's what needed to be applied to win this fight, then fine. But I already knew. I was gonna win this fight. Good damage, good damage. Staying consistent. That's all it takes. So dodge is good. I lost my adrenaline. Don't love to see it, but you know what? Again, it's okay. And despite the few hits I was taking, I was winning this battle. Good damage. Nearing the end. Nearing the end. Not there yet, though. Can't get cocky. It's the last thing I'd like to do. Easy. Just okay. I was gonna say just patience, but waited a little bit too long there. Easy. Ridge. A little late there too, but we're nearing the end here. There's a sliver of health left. Just gonna sneak through there. Alright, last 100k. We're doing this is literally a great fight so far. We're doing so good. Easy. Boom. Easy. Alright, cool. That went literally perfectly. Wow. I'm shocked. Day 33. A third of my maximum time, and I had just one boss left to do. I didn't end up doing Exomex simply because I didn't need to, and it was quicker to just skip to Escal. Either way, I made my way underground to mine the orc ore that spawns upon defeating Yarn. I'm sorry. F in the comments for that lost girl, y'all. She just got absolutely eviscerated. I don't know what to say about that. I used the orc ore on mine to craft the final gear that I would need, like Seraph Tracers and Auric Tesla armor. I then devastated the wildlife. Anyway, I did still have a few more things to do before I was ready to finish this playthrough. First, farm Plantera for the Blossom Flux, which was a bow I needed to craft the Drataliornis. Hey, watch the text!
Sorry, yeah, I got it.
Second, kill Astrum Aureus because he drops Aura's cells, which I need for an incredibly good accessory called the Radiance. And third, do DOG a few more times because I needed some more Cosmolite for a few more things like better arrows and bullets. So, I started by doing Astrum Aureus and crafting the Radiance, which I believe is the best accessory in Calamity when it comes to regeneration. Next, I did Devourer and crafted both Godslayer slugs and Vanquisher arrows. Golly, those names are whew. And the final thing I had to do was Plantera. And not just once. No. You think this game would be that nice to me? Nah, I had to do Plantera 26 times before I got the Blossom Flux. Which was easy, sure. Yeah, I melted her health each time, but 26 times, jeez. Anyways, after getting the bow, I made the Drataliornis and was honestly thrown off by how it worked. Alright. It actually does some pretty good. Cool. Yeah, that's nuts, actually. I was a little caught off guard by how slow it was moving that I didn't think it was going to be good. But yeah, no, that's really good. Cool. But now, I didn't really have much else to do. I did try one more time to get Reaper Teeth for the monsoon, but I couldn't. So now, it was time. After 33 days of Calamity, as the sun set on the 34th day, it was me against her. The one whom no man, army, city, or god could stand against. The one whose name was uttered quietly in fear. The Brimstone Witch herself. Calamitous. Because if I do this, then that's it. I will. Unfortunately, I did die once, but I was so close I could taste victory. Oh, what was that? What was that? I didn't know what happened. So I stepped up to the altar, and knowing that if I can do that and not get hit, I think I can win. Honestly, I gave it my all. Really good damage. Ooh, what? Easy. Yeah, if I can no-hit it, this thing does great damage. Oh. Relax, buddy. Try to save my potion. Try to be a little bit more careful here. Okay, I did pop the potion, but I think it might still be okay. That, yeah, I'm not sure how to dodge it. Okay, I did it there though, so. I don't know what hit me there. I think I dodged the tag. Slices. Switch this flamethrower, I think I can get him out of here with it. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna try to switch back to this thing. Just try my best to not get hit. That was so close. I don't know how to get it there. Alright, I think I'm gonna switch to the flamethrower for the rest of this. Adrenaline and rage, good damage. Great damage, actually. Alright, I got hit a little bit there. This should be... Oh. Getting hit a bit more than I want, but I have a potion. Just try to be real careful here. Yeah, I don't know how I couldn't get hit there. There it is. Let's go, dude. Day 34. 33 days passed. The very last minute of day 34, and on the dawn of day 35, I beat the Supreme Witch Calamitus, and I beat Terraria Calamity. Hey, where's the logo we're supposed to... Ah! There were still some things I hadn't done, like Exomex, Boss Rush, and other things, but for me, I had beaten the final boss of Calamity, and I was proud. In nearly a third of the time I had given myself, I accomplished my goal, and it felt great. So, final stats, 33, nearly 34 days passed, 13 hours and 50 minutes, so just under 14 hours, and a mere 16 deaths. All stats way better than I thought they would be. And I did it. I beat Calamity in 33 days. So, I guess my takeaway would be, just try. Whatever idea you have, whatever challenge it is you want to face, don't let it just sit in your mind. Try it, whatever it is. Overcome a challenge that you don't know if you can accomplish or not. Something you're uncertain about. Because I believe in you. And hey, you might even be shocked by just how good you can do. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.